Hello and happy Friday. So, you've probably heard the phrase bloom where you're planted. It's this idea that wherever you find yourself, or more specifically, wherever God puts you, you're there to bloom, wherever that is. Several years ago, a family friend of ours, really a friend of Dina's, was sharing a story. She'd worked in the mission field for quite some time, and God put her in some hard places. Some places that she wouldn't have chosen to go to, and he had her there for longer than she would have liked to have been there. And as she struggled with this and prayed over it, she came to this moment of surrender where she said, Lord, I want to thrive, not just survive. She'd been there just hanging on, surviving and struggling. And it was a huge moment for her in her relationship with God and in her calling when she surrendered to thrive, to bloom where she was planted. And in many ways, things are different now in the world. Jesus has changed the world through people like that who have bloomed where they were planted for the sake of his kingdom. We're going to see an example of that from Acts chapter 8 this Sunday in one of those early deacons. Philip was put in some places that he probably would not have chosen to be, and yet he proclaimed the gospel, and Jesus changed the world through him. I hope you'll join us this weekend as we see this yet one more powerful story of how Jesus began to change the world, how he continues to change the world, and how he can change your life and mine as well. And speaking of deacons, this next Wednesday, August 7th, is our annual meeting. We're going to have some new deacon nominations as part of that meeting for our upcoming ministry year. We're also going to be talking about our For Lake Norman vision. We're going to give an update on some things that we've been able to do and then some upcoming things that we want to be able to do. We'll talk about where our funding is, where the commitments are, and what's needed to go forward. We'll also talk about the end of our fiscal year, the beginning of our next fiscal year in September. So August is a really important month for us as a church. It's the end of our fiscal year. We want to finish strong. If you have the capacity to give a special gift this month for the sake of reaching people in Lake Norman, bringing the healing connection and purpose that only Jesus can bring, I would encourage you to prayerfully consider what you can do to help advance the vision as we close out this fiscal year and as we lean into the vision that God has called us to here in Lake Norman. I would encourage you to be a part of that and encourage you to join us this Wednesday, August 7th, 6:30 p.m. in our worship center here at the church. We're also going to live stream it online. So if you can't be here in person, I would encourage you to join us there as well as we share these important updates in the life of the church. So lots happening. Look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, have a great weekend.